You all have seen me standing in this spot for months, giving updates on La Adelita and our progress with this DIY tiny house. But I realized that I had yet to give a final tour of the finished product. We have already had 2 guests stay in here. We get rave reviews on it, especially on the tub, which I'll show you when we get to the back of the cabin. And we couldn't be more thrilled to offer this to friends, family, and guests through Airbnb and Hipcamp. So we would love to have you here at Part-Time Pastures. Enter La Adelita, you are greeted by a kitchen area with a really cozy coffee bar, and you could sit here in the mornings and enjoy this gorgeous view. The barbecue grill is available to use if you want to cook out, but you could also move it out of the way to get an even better view out this window. This wooden slab is actually salvaged from a friend of the family's property. They had a few that they were thinking that they would use, and they chose one for the mantle over their fireplace and gave us the rest of them for use here in the cabin. And so we've got a couple of larger ones we may end up using for outdoor furniture, but Ryan sanded this one off as smooth as possible, and we took the bark off the edge, so we have still kind of that live edge effect, but it's nice and smooth if you want to rest your elbows there on this little coffee bar. We've got the coffee and so we've got the Keurig, we've got plenty of coffee mugs, I've got some creamer that I keep here for people, and then I have these fun little baskets from Target Dollar Spot that I had been waiting to use, and we've got coffee and some tea for guests, and it just kind of creates a nice little decor feature in this corner that was going to be a somewhat underutilized corner. When we did this design, we were really challenged with this spot. So what do we put in this corner while still creating this feature that we wanted to have in the little kitchenette area? We thought about a larger refrigerator, like that actually took up more of that space, but this works for now, and we're really happy with how it turned out, and I think that those look great. I would probably put a plant in that corner, except right now we just have a lot of fluctuation with the temperature in here, which I came over here this morning and it was a little chilly, so I have the heater on just to get a little bit of the chill out of the space. We are working to get a mini split installed, so right now, I guess while I'm on the subject, we have this heater, which was also purchased on Wayfair, and I think heats up to 800 square feet, so it works really well. And then we have a smaller window unit. I think it's 6,000 BTU, so definitely not enough for the heat of our summers here in Texas, and that's why we will be working to get a mini split unit from a local HVAC guy as we start to get into the hottest times here. The pallet wall that I constructed here in the back really brings in that earthy grounding element, which is perfect for farmhouse rustic decor. But we also have some modern design, like this beautiful print from Dolan Guyman, who was really the inspiration for this entire cabin, which is called La Adelita Casita. She was a purchase made at Maverick Western Wear in Fort Worth, and we had her framed, except that she did not make it through this renovation unscathed, and the frame fell off the wall. So we have this, I actually used scrap wood from this project to fashion a temporary frame until we can get her back behind glass and more protected from the elements. These fixtures from Wayfair I purchased when this cabin was nothing more than 4 walls. I knew that that was the right design element. They give off a really soft glow in the evenings and create a pretty interesting pattern on the ceiling at night. Moving back to the kitchenette area, I am going to zoom out a little bit. Of course, this is a small space. The entire casita is 432 square feet, so it's going to make it look bigger with this angle, but want you to be able to see the general lay of the land. We purchased one of those prefab cabinet units at Home Depot, and I painted it. I believe this color is called Kevin's Stang from Valspar. So apparently Kevin had a Mustang that was this color. And this is a beautiful peacock blue. Even though it looks a little bluer in this video, it matches the color in La Adelita's dress perfectly, which I love. Interesting challenge as it relates to the rest of the design here. So we knew we wanted butcher block. We ordered a butcher block from countertop from Home Depot, got there, and they gave us the island size, which was great in the sense that we got more for our money. It was not great in the fact that we actually had to cut it down to make it fit the depth that we needed. So the back was cut. Ryan cut that, and then we have it caulked, of course, to keep it affixed to the countertop as well, or to the base cabinet as well. So it worked out great. And then we had this leftover wood to make these shelves. So rather than cabinets, we just have the open shelf concept. We bought these rustic pipes. Of course, you could make these with any kind of plumbing fittings as well, but I found a kit that had what we needed, and so we put up those industrial pipe shelf brackets, the butcher block that is all conditioned with a butcher block conditioner, and so that gives it a nice finish, although I am seeing that we've got a little bit of water stain happening there. So you can always use that conditioner and get it right back to the state that it was in when it was brand new. This Keurig is probably 10 years old. It's amazing. It has lasted forever. We've got a little egg dish if somebody wants to hard boil or poach fresh eggs from the chickens during their stay. We've got a toaster oven, which is one of those multi-function ones. So not really any kind of, you wouldn't want to do a lot of major cooking in this area, but at least if you need snacks, if you need to heat up something for dinner, you could do it in the toaster oven. And we have the refrigerator that you could put fresh and frozen food in for your stay. We've got dishes, everything that you need to make you comfortable. So one of the challenges that we had with these shelves is that the sheetrock was not durable at all. The only thing we could figure is that because we did this project slowly but surely over the course of last summer when it was starting to get really humid outside and this space was not climate controlled, that perhaps it messed up the integrity of the sheetrock. So we would go to put the wall anchors in and they would bust right through the sheetrock. Well, when you need it to hold plates, that's not an acceptable level of safety. So what we did was I thought about these old pieces of wood that I had used from the pallet wall. I said, hey, will that serve as more of a bracket to kind of brace those cabinets on? We just connected the whole thing to make one long bracket, and it's kind of, I mean, it works great. This is how Ryan did the shelving in our closet. And so that was what kind of gave me the idea. I said, hey, we have this scrap wood. Let's make that into kind of a bracing system for these cabinets. So it gave it extra support, and now these cabinets are sturdy. They hold all of our dishes, which are Pioneer Woman from Walmart. So I didn't want to splurge on dishes that'll rarely get used, but the color and the pattern were absolutely perfect for this space. So loved that as a good find. And these are a big splurge from Dollar General. So they had a whole collection at one point that were all these really cute farmhouse style mugs and other dinnerware. So got those at Dollar General, and these from Wayfair to add a little decorative touch. So loving the way that our little kitchenette turned out, and it's perfect for what you need for maybe just a weekend stay. Why didn't somebody tell me how freaking wild my hair was? Across from the kitchenette is just a little seating area. These are, again, like chairs that we have had forever that have lasted forever. I think I bought them at Ashley Furniture 15 years ago. So just when you think about wanting to decorate on a budget, what do you have that may not be the fanciest or the latest style, but that is neutral and goes with everything? So these chairs were an excellent purchase from the start, just because I've been able to change them out with fresh pillows, and they're microfiber, so they clean easily, and I've kept them clean. We steam cleaned them before we moved a year ago, so these chairs have held up amazingly well. These tables were actually also from the friend of the family who gave us the slab over there. And she said, hey, I have these out in my garage. Do you want them? Never been used. I believe they were from TJ Maxx or something. And have that in here. And then this is a family heirloom, this typewriter. So I have it in here because I love to write. I actually am an author, in case you didn't know that. I wrote a book called Strong Roots, Wayward Soul, and it's a memoir of my sobriety journey, but also the incredible relationship that I had with my grandmothers who grew up on farms. And so I feel like I'm living their legacy by coming back to farm life and being the compassionate, generous person that both of those women were. I host retreats for women, and I thought that this might be a better solution for women who want to come and maybe come with a friend and not have to share a bed, but be able to have two twin beds so that they can stay together in the same spot and then have their own separate bed. And, you know, with couples, the same friend who gave us the slab and the table also has her guest room decorated this way. She said even when it's couples, usually the guys will stay up talking and the wife wants to go to bed, or vice versa. And so they find that having twin beds for couples guests still creates this ability to sleep independently, do what you want, and then not disturb the other person when you come to bed. Now, if you're staying out here where it's pretty quiet at night and you're probably going to go to bed at the same time, you can always push the beds together if you really want to snuggle with your significant other. As you come into the bathroom, I've got just a little shelf with some decor. We've got books and some games and a puzzle that people can use while they're here. I've got some other little books over there, like an adult coloring book that you can use while you're here on the stay, but you're probably going to want to be outside. So when you do come in, we designed this bathroom at the back, which was the bane of my husband's existence for a while. So I was so insistent on this bathroom being at the back of the cabin. My friend Crystal and I had talked about it, and we had stayed in a little tiny house at the In-Between, which is a fabulous place to go stay in Concan, Texas, if you're ever down at the Frio River. The place that we stayed at the In-Between had the bathroom kind of in the middle, and it was across from the kitchen. So I contemplated that design, which is what Ryan wanted to design this space like, where the bathroom was kind of just past the kitchen and the bedroom would be here in the back. However, my friend and I talked about the fact that it'd be kind of nice to have the bathroom at the back so that you think about things that happen in the bathroom that maybe you don't want it right next to your kitchen. I won't elaborate too much on that, but just imagine it's nicer to have the bathroom all the way in the back, or so we thought. My husband tried to tell me that this was going to be the worst plumbing job ever because of the slope underneath the house. When they delivered this cabin, they had to really prop up the front. In fact, we had to go get more blocks for them to prop up the front. So the back here is almost even with the ground. And he kept asking me, how are we going to plumb lines underneath this cabin when it's at the ground? I said, no problem. I'll climb underneath. I can fit, which I could, but it was still a big challenge. Add to that the fact that Ryan had shoulder surgery in the midst of all of this renovation, and so plumbing had to wait for months. Everything was done. I was working on all of these little details inside, and plumbing was the last thing that we were able to do. But let me tell you, having this bathroom in this space is worth it. So again, I'm going to zoom out a little bit just to give you the entire lay of the land. Obviously, the room is slightly smaller than it might appear on video, but it is still a very generous space for a tiny house. Hi. The main feature in this bathroom, which I wanted from the start, is the soaker tub. So we ordered this on, I believe, Home Depot, and had it delivered and brought it out here. It's like fiberglass instead of iron, like a traditional clawfoot tub would be. So not only does that make it half the price, but it does make it about 100 pounds versus 800 pounds that you'd have for an iron tub. When you have a pier and beam house, you want that sucker to be as light as possible. So I could probably sit here and stare at the soaker tub all day, notice the gorgeous light streaming in through the transom window, which was part of the design from Lone Star Structures, who created this, has this cabin on their website, and we did some customization to it, but this was one of the features that they had in there that we left. I did all white and black accessories in here, so we did the white vanity that I absolutely love. I believe this was also a purchase from Home Depot. It's kind of appropriate that I chose this orange-ish color because Home Depot is where we purchase most of our materials for this build out. The pallet wood is the same stuff, same material I used on the front wall, and so we carried that design element in here. Ryan really wanted to do this vintage exposed copper type of fixture, and so we got all of this, and he learned how to solder after years of not doing it. So we've got this really rustic element, and then you can just turn these on and fill up the tub. Well, not overfill it, but it's just an amazing experience to take a bath in here. I've got candles, I've got different things and the lights are actually on a dimmer switch. So it's going to be hard to tell here because it's daylight, but you can dim the lights, take your bath. It's quite a relaxing experience. Now you might be thinking that this is a shower, and unfortunately for right now, you would be wrong. It is just a storage closet, and we've got the water heater in here. So the idea all along was to be a closet, but as we've thought more and more about the fact that not everybody is going to want to take a bath, we are eventually going to turn this into a shower. It won't be too hard because we can wall this in right here, and all of the plumbing is already run into this area. So it should be easy enough to put the shower head here and then have this be the shower, which the thing that works out great with the slope in the ceiling is that having the shower that direction means taller people can take a shower right here. Part of the reason we didn't turn this into a shower is because it's the shortest part of the bathroom. So if you are 6 foot tall, your head would probably be up against the ceiling while you were trying to take your shower. We thought about one of those that you can just take off and kind of use like a shower head, and we may go that route eventually, but for right now, this we really love, and so we're sticking with that. Of course, we have a standard toilet and the vanity. This mirror is from it's another heirloom piece. So this is from my great-grandparents' farmhouse, I think. So it's been passed down through my mom's family, and I was excited to use it. Now, one thing that's pretty funny is I am 5'2". So right now, the top of the mirror works perfectly for me. I can see my entire face. I can get in here and brush my teeth and it's no problem. But anybody who's taller than me who has stayed here says, yes, you're kind of just looking at the center of your chest when you're standing here at the mirror. So we will figure that out, but it is not a big deal to have to lean over and put your makeup on, I hope. And it works out really nicely that this was always going to be an heirloom piece that we were going to use in this space. The prints in here are from Real Fun Wow, which is Darren is one of my favorite artists, and if you don't follow him on social media, you should. Darren's ability to make reels is amazing, and if you have a really dry or snarky sense of humor like I do, you will absolutely love him. Trust me. Now, let me close off the less attractive part of this bathroom and give you one last shot of how amazingly beautiful the space is. This color is Ciao. CIAO, like Italian ciao, and it's kind of a terracotta color. My husband says peach, but it's not, it's terracotta. So wanted to be very in style with what's going on in home decor right now, and just create this really earthy vibe in the entire space. Not to mention that La Adelita print has orange in her pattern too, so part of it was again trying to tie in all of our design elements to that print. Coming out of the bathroom, again, just giving you one entire shot of the space. It is 12 feet wide by 32 feet deep. And our old bedroom at our house in Fort Worth was shaped the same and about the same size. So it worked out so well that we could use painter's tape and map out the space long before we started this build. So that completes the tour of La Adelita. Again, it's available to rent on Hipcamp and Airbnb. If you have any questions about the space, please ask in the comments. You can also find us on our website, parttimepastures.com, and I'm always available to answer questions about your stay. I also just wanted to give you a tour for those of you who have been following our channel and following this build. Here's the final result, and we'd love to have you, but even if you just needed a little DIY inspiration, here it is, the completed project.